I think it was Blaise Pascal that once said, "All of man's problems stem from the inability to sit quietly in a room alone." And this is referring to how almost all people fear the silence of existence. People dread being bored and will always prefer to be distracted with other mindless things in order to avoid our emotions, to avoid the discomforts of our mind. And I think this holds true more than ever in today's age. In today's world, we have an infinite number of things to distract ourselves with. We got our phones, we got social media, Netflix, video games, porn, etc. And through living our entire life drowning ourselves in these distractions, we literally become addicted to being distracted. And I think if more and more people had the ability to just be okay with doing nothing, with just being there with their mind, with whatever thoughts that are going on in there, then I think we'd see a lot less people being diagnosed with various mental health disorders like anxiety and depression, because I'd say the less comfortable you are with solitude and just letting go of things in your life for a little bit, the more likely it is that you won't really know yourself, because you're drowning out the essence of your being with all these distractions. And when you don't know yourself, you can't live life in alignment with who you really are, and as a result of that, you'll feel like complete shit most of the time. And to add to this, let's talk about how today's world tends to push people to be as productive as possible. A common mindset people have goes something like, the more I get done, the happier I will feel, and the more successful I will be. And while this is not a bad mentality to take all the time, I mean, you do need to be productive and get stuff done if you ever want to actualize the life you want at your deepest core. But don't get lost in the sauce of being productive to the point that you attach your identity and your sense of well-being to being productive. Don't get to the point that you have so many things to do, so many things nagging at your consciousness that you lose that vision, that you become blind to what you really want in life. And then as a result of that, you can't be the person that you really want to be. Because all of this totally can happen. It happens to a lot of people. It happened to me, getting sucked into the cycle of trying to be productive, always feeling the need for stimulation, whether that be social media or watching sports or Netflix or whatever. And in my experience, the way to cure that, the way to get back into alignment, is to literally just do nothing for as long as is necessary. Practice doing nothing. So for much of the past year plus, I had been trying to balance my schoolwork because I am in college studying to get my degree. I had been working 5 days a week at my job at a golf course, and I was trying to crank out the YouTube videos for this channel as well, and all of that was really taking its toll on me. I was trying to be as productive as possible, and this left me with very little free time, not only to do things that are fun, but to set aside time for spiritual practices like meditation, self-reflection, and contemplation. And it's not like I had absolutely zero time for these things. I still naturally did them for the time that I could, but the practices couldn't be as profound because there was so much pressure on me to get things done, and there's so much nagging at my mind that I couldn't just let go and not care and be in the moment. So what I decided to do when school ended was to just take a break from everything. You may have noticed that I took over a month-long break from making YouTube videos, and that's because, well, I was doing a whole lot of nothing. And I felt like I needed this break because I felt so unaligned, precisely because I had been in the cycle of trying to be productive for so long. I felt out of touch with myself spiritually. I wasn't sure what exactly I wanted to spend the rest of my time doing in my life, and I honestly wasn't sure if it was worth continuing to put hours upon hours of my time into this YouTube channel with such little payment in return. So what I wanted to do was just take a big break to contemplate it all. And I didn't just want to take a 2 or 3 or a 5 day break. I wanted a break long enough for me to completely break out of the headspace I was in of the need to be productive, or even think about school or the channel or anything else at all. And I wanted to just simply see where my mind went when I had very little nagging at my consciousness. And it went great. At the beginning, it felt weird to not have to work on a school assignment or work on writing a script for a video or editing a video. But eventually I got into a space where I was just so appreciative of my life and how my life was going. I realized I'd been so busy that I wasn't enjoying the present moment. I wasn't experiencing reality for the sheer beauty that it is. And after about 7 to 10 days of doing nothing, and it's not like I was doing absolutely nothing. It's not like I was just sitting there meditating the entire time. I was still hanging out with friends, going to the park and playing pickup basketball, and going shopping for some stuff that I needed. But in this time, the constant impulse to think about what I was going to do next gradually faded away. It's like at the beginning, my mind was having withdrawals from not being productive, and I was like, oh my god, I need to do something. But soon enough, those thoughts faded away, and really the point of the break was to get out of the life of the character, the self, and to just be and be spontaneous. So after those first 7 to 10 days, I started to notice that I was caring so much less about how any interaction or situation that arose would unfold, and this was very surprising to me. I didn't expect this to happen. It was blissful. I was content with any outcome and anything that I did. It didn't even feel like I was doing it. It was more like it was just being done, like the universe was doing it through me, and I had very little self-consciousness, and I was just content with the moment and just being my true self in the moment. During this time, I rekindled some friendships with people I hadn't spoken to in years, and it was like picking up right where we left off, like we had been great friends the entire time, and we had never missed a beat. I also met some new friends during this time, and it was just effortless for me to vibe with them and engage in really deep, meaningful conversation. And if you know me personally, this is such a rare thing for me. Usually I'm very introverted. I kind of keep to myself, and it takes me some time to warm up to new people. But recently during this break, it's like a flip has switched, and all of a sudden I have this newfound charisma. And I just think this is because I'm not worried about anything. I have nothing in my psyche blocking me from being my truest, authentic self, and I view this as such a major breakthrough on my spiritual path, because being spontaneous, being authentic, and not worrying about how I'll come across to others are all things I've struggled with in the past that have caused me suffering, and now that I have experienced a profound state of authenticity during my break, I know the task is to now bring that same energy, that same authenticity into my life, even when I'm trying to be very productive with school and work and making YouTube videos. And most importantly, being in this state really put me back in touch with what I feel my purpose to be and what I want to do in my life. I have known for a while that I just want to contribute to the raising of humanity's consciousness in whatever way I can in this life, because I know that's what's really going to change the world. Change your inner world, the outer world's going to reflect that. So I want to really be teaching people how to change their inner worlds, so then the world will become a better place in return. And because I had been distracted for so long, it's not that I had forgotten that this wasn't what I wanted to do, but I just wasn't thinking about it so much because I had so many immediate tasks that I had to do, and this break really put me back in touch with this purpose that I have. Like, if I'm not living for love, if I'm not living to help people make this world a better place, then why am I even here, and what am I even doing? So when it comes to my life purpose, I definitely have a strong why. The how isn't so clear yet, but I do know I am helping a lot of people with this YouTube channel, so I will definitely continue to make videos. I also have 2 years of college left, hoping maybe I can one day become a therapist or a life coach or something along those lines. I also have one day maybe being a writer in mind, so I'm going to keep going with these things. I have my why, and I'm confident that as life unfolds that the how will become more clear. But I know a key part of gaining the clarity that I seek will come through not letting myself get so distracted, not letting myself get lost in the sauce of ego, and setting aside time to do a whole lot of nothing so I can just learn how to just be and be content with the moment. So all in all, this was a fantastic break for me. Definitely had a spiritual breakthrough, and it's all because I had set aside time to do nothing. Now, I recognize that what I did is kind of a luxury. I was able to not do much for an entire month and suffer virtually no consequences for it. Most people cannot do that, but if you can, I highly recommend it. I do think taking time off from everything would definitely be the most powerful if you're able to do it, because the thoughts of all the tasks you have to do will go away and you'll be left with the essence of yourself. Just make sure you're not engaging in activities with stimulative activities that kind of distract you. But if you can't take time off from everything, I'll say what I've said many times on this channel. Meditate every single day for at least 20 to 30 minutes. You'll build that muscle of mindfulness, and with that big mindfulness muscle, you'll learn to be content with solitude, and you'll learn how to not be so distracted in your everyday life. And the benefits that come from that are just beyond words. I can't even describe it to you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, drop a comment for the algorithm boost, and if you wish to support my work on a deeper level, I do have a Patreon with various tiers on there. I could really use the support, but of course guys, no pressure. And as always, have a great day and peace.